these videos that I'm making, or some of them at least, are being included as part of a submission for my doctorate, my PhD. I also have to submit, of course, some academic writing and so on. So I've been thinking about the relative differences and values and processes and knowledge status of these videos and the differing values associated to the writing. On the one hand, there's a relatively obvious difference, ontological difference, which is to do with the conditioned, the object condition, if you like, of the entity. A piece of writing, a piece of academic writing particularly, has a quite distinct object status. And since it's an academic piece of writing, it isn't an object status which is just placed out there. It is through the standard practices of referencing and bibliographic information and all that kind of thing. It is laced into a pre-existing landscape that exists. It's part of a planned development, if you like, rather than it being a hostile invader. It isn't a megalith that just appeared in the landscape like the object in 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's more like a carefully designed block of flats, or a carefully designed bridge, better, is what an analogy with it. That's what an academic writing aspires to be. Whereas these videos, undoubtedly they are objects, and they are things in the world, and they have a beginning and an end, albeit a beginning and an end in time, rather than a beginning and an end on a printed page. But they're not quite the same. Their ontological status isn't the same. And it isn't simply because they're half-baked ideas, most of them, and aren't completely laced in. And they're not half-formed in the most literal sense of me trying to form them whilst I'm speaking. I think that is a difference, but I don't think that's the only difference. I think one of the differences is to do with strangeness. Although I do get some funny looks doing these videos, I am doing something here which feels remarkably ordinary. I'm just walking with my dogs in the countryside and speaking in the language of my birth in fairly routine sentences with all of the stumbling and the ums and ahs that tend to crop up in normal spoken sentences. It doesn't feel unnatural to do this, except when my left arm starts aching like it is now. But beyond that, it feels completely straightforward. Constructing an academic document, on the other hand, is deeply unnatural. I don't think it's just me that thinks that. I can't believe it's just me. It's not an insurmountable problem. It's quite pleasurable in many ways. But it's the pleasures, if there is a pleasure, it's a pleasure associated with learning to do something and then doing something which almost goes against nature. It's a bit like doing five-dimensional math. Five-dimensional math undoubtedly has a purpose, but you have to forget that you live in a two-dimensional world in order to be able to do it. You have to forget being able to visualize it. And I think in a similar way, when you're constructing these odd objects which live out there in Cartesian imaginal space of knowledge, laced into all the rest of those items of knowledge in this network of references, three-dimensional, if it is three-dimensional network of references out there, you have to kind of forget the conventions of language and dialogue and exchange and the rest of the perfections of the body which keep showing themselves up in these speeches and these talks, and all the hesitations and the backtracking and the forgetting and the mistakes. So I think in terms of how they actually exist out there in the world as objects, if that's the right word, it's partly to do with their unnaturalness. If I write this video up, which I don't think I will, if I was to, I would have to clean up this language. I would have to find references for most of these points, and the points that didn't make it in the sieve of references would have to be dropped. There would be no analogue for me staring off into the middle distance or trying to speak over the roar of the cars. They would be out there in Newtonian space. They wouldn't be pressed up close to my hand the way this camera is right now.